Today's episode is brought to you by Black Hydrovac, experts in vacuum excavation and utility locating, specializing in unique needs of mission-critical clients. Whether you call it hydro excavation, daylighting, or potholing, they focus on non-destructive digging in high-impact areas where underground utilities are at risk of being struck. This is utility protection at its best, defined by technical excellence, job site reliability, and a relentless commitment to doing the work right. Learn more at Black Hydrovac. Welcome to Beyond the Megawatt. I'm Valerie Crafton, Risk and Site Strategist. I'm joined by my co-host, Mara Urban, reuse expert and real estate visionary. Together, we are the Data Center Darlings. We're spotlighting the voices and ideas powering digital infrastructure's future. Let's dive in and go beyond the megawatt.
I'm Sarah Mossweed and I'm with TC Fiber.
Hi, Valerie. Michael Morris. I'm with Ziply Fiber. We're based out of Seattle, Washington.
I'm Joe Nasser. I'm with Titus Low Carbon Ventures out of Fort Worth.
I am Nick Cruzy and I'm with GPC Infrastructure.
John Tomlinson with Broadus & Associates.
And what are you all solving in the industry?
We're a owner's rep construction management firm based here in Texas, and we're supporting mission critical build-out.
Tell me, what solution are you all solving for?
We are combining clean burning natural gas with wind, solar, battery to kind of provide solutions for hyperscale and data center developers.
Tell us a little bit about that. What do you want to focus on?
Yeah, so GPC, you can think of us as a behind-the-meter independent power producer specifically focused on data centers. So we do natural gas fired generation, looking to enable data centers to get powered on a timeline that's independent from the utility.
Fantastic. Now, it's very interesting because here we are at DataCloud talking about data centers, and we bring in all of this behind the meter energy conversations together. Here's proof the ecosystems come together. We're having these conversations, we're collaborating, and we're solving the problems. What would you say we need to talk a little bit more about in this industry?
Well, I think this industry is growing so rapidly and so fast. Sometimes you just have to take a breath and try to discover what the niches are out there. I know in my world it's connectivity, it's fiber optics, and that's where we really focus.
What thought problems should we be talking about more?
Yeah, I think really looking at long-term sustainable energy that's going to really remove the burden that all this AI development is bringing to the grid is one of the key areas that we can focus on. You know, industrial cogeneration, which other industries have used for many, many years, is a well-established technology. So when you look for a power solution, just turning to the grid is, that's one way you can approach it. But alternatively, there's ways that you can find more symbiotic relationships that not only get you energized faster, they don't create these socialization problems and burdens.
I know that you are looking abroad into other countries and trying to help folks segue, maybe they haven't built there before, and helping them with that research, correct?
Yes.
There's a lot of unknowns, so how do you address that?
Yeah, so we are very boots on the ground, but also kind of more on the superficial side. So we can tell from the data centers who the supplier is, who the operator is, the M&A contractor. We can tell when they're ready for service or going under construction, whatever it may be. We kind of have all that information right there for our clients to be able to make educated decisions.
Now, as you're moving into these new territories, they can also help you know who's already developing there, which helps further de-risk your sites. Because if they've already trailblazed the area, then it's probably a good place to be. But they can give you a lot of the insights and save you a lot of the hard work as you're looking at your sites. What was the resources that has helped you be successful moving into this new market space?
A lot of different things. I'd encourage people to just be active and participate. While it's a big industry and it's moving very quickly, people are very welcoming,
Yes.
just like yourself. I reached out to you and I've met you, and it's really just an in-person and interactive culture. So I'd encourage that. And then also podcasts like Beyond the Megawatt. And then also Valerie Carey's book, Jumpstart Your Career in Data Centers, is phenomenal.
I can't recommend it enough. It's fantastic.
We use it as supplemental onboarding for our project managers as well.
That's super great. Like, I love to hear that. What's interesting is I'm hearing from folks that we're starting to collaborate with people that you never thought you'd be collaborating with. Are you experiencing the same thing?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if you look back 5 years ago, I would have never realized how many of the data centers we would be trying to get to, and how fast the growth would happen.
What do you think of this event?
So far, I've absolutely enjoyed it. The keynotes have been very in line with what I'm interested personally, and also just learning more about how I can kind of help the company and the information I'm gaining to help us kind of go further.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to go beyond the megawatt and give us some of your insights.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Is this your first DataCloud event?
Yes, yeah, I was at Yada last week. Previously worked at Advanis, Austin Energy, and EDF Trading, but now focused on data center growth and how it affects the power markets.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for taking a few minutes to go beyond the megawatt. Appreciate it.
This episode is powered by Mod 42. Their modular approach represents the future of data center infrastructure. By combining innovation, design with cutting-edge technology, they deliver scalable, efficient, and sustainable solutions that transforms how businesses deploy and manage their computing resources. Well, welcome everyone to Beyond the Megawatt. I'm very excited to have Joe and Lottie here from the DataCloud. Now, Lottie, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Lottie and I am the content lead for DataCloud USA. I also work on our Metro Connect event that takes place in Fort Lauderdale as well. So my role is really overseeing the content of the whole event, from researching for the agenda, which takes place years out, from sourcing our speakers, developing partnerships with associations, and ultimately making the content agenda as good as it possibly can be.
Now, tell me how you ended up with this team. What was your journey?
So I studied politics and philosophy at university, and originally started my career producing banking events. I moved over to DataCloud, well, to Tokoroco, who's the parent organization, a year and a half ago now. And I find it really interesting because I'm part of a generation where social media and digital technology is so integrated into our everyday lives, from TikTok, Google Maps, everything, but there's not really an awareness of the digital infrastructure that actually all of this technology is dependent upon. So when I started out at this job, my friends would constantly ask me, so what is it you actually do? And then that naturally ended up on me having to explain what a data center is, and how vital it is for all the technology that we're using. So it's really, really exciting to be part of a role where I'm researching the industry, talking to innovators in the space, which feeds into our program, but also spreads awareness across to people outside of the industry who don't know what a data center is and don't know how fiber connectivity works. So yeah, very happy to be here.
Oh my goodness, that is actually a really great point that you bring up, because it's so, so true. I mean, whether I'm talking to high schoolers, young children, professionals in the field, I will see folks, on the news, maybe picketing, a data center, and then have a cell phone in their hands. Yeah. And not even connecting the dots of why we need them in the first place, right? So that's a really great point you bring up, and I love that journey story. Joe, tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, Val. Sort of touching upon what Lottie said there. I'm the commercial lead for the DataCloud series in the US. I've been in the role for about 4 years now. Would sort of like to talk about university, but it was a little bit further away for me than it was for Lottie. It was about 6 or 7 years ago now, but I studied international business at university, so I was always keen to sort of get out and travel. And I ended up in my first job working in the telecoms industry, but not within data centers, within the complete other end, within sort of selling smartphones. So worked for a Chinese smartphone company that were working to get into the UK, and working with companies like Vodafone and Three. So sort of at the other end, working with the network operators. I moved to DataCloud 4 years ago to set up their audience development team. And like Lottie, I had absolutely no idea what a data center was beforehand. I also didn't realize that there was this many sort of events out there as well, which has come to pass. We've got about 6 at DataCloud now alone, and there's a conference for everything at the moment. So yeah, I moved to DataCloud 4 years ago, set up their audience development team, which is now looking to get more sort of hyperscalers and enterprise end users to our events. So once we get those guys in, it sort of allows us to bring in the rest of the industry. That's the sort of strategy from our side. I moved into a commercial role about 3 years ago, and I've been the lead of that for the past year. So for me, it's about the sort of interest in the industry, and from a sort of personal perspective, the travel that we get to do, I think it's incredible, especially going out to the US a lot. It's so different to the UK. And just if you look on LinkedIn, when there's an event on, you see everyone's in a specific place. So in June, everyone was in Cannes for our event. There might be in Hawaii at some point in the year. There'll be in Austin in September. So yeah, it's a really exciting part to be in the industry at the moment.
Well, that's really great story as well. And so interesting how you all kind of came in from different angles, but it's all still very connected somehow. And that just goes to show you how powerful the mission critical world is whether or not we realize it or not. When you do, it's 100% connected. It's just like this big web of connectivity. What do you all see as being the future of data centers? And what do you think the subjects are, how they're going to be different for next year?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think it's hard to tell, which is a cop-out answer, but the industry moves so quickly, as we know. But if I had to pinpoint 2 things that I think will be hot on the agenda next year, I think it's going to be more investment-related conversations. I don't think there's any sign of industry slowdown, although speculation. It was clear from events that we've been to recently, such as Congress and ITW, that it's very much still foot on the pedal for investment into digital infrastructure. So I think that's going to be a hot topic of conversation. I think the conversation around quantum will continue as well. Energy, and then last, if I can have one more, I think there might be a bit of a conversation around data centers in space as well. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Ooh, that's pretty audacious. That's a great forecast. I love that. I think Lottie just dropped the mic. Well, I have really enjoyed hearing about what to expect, where we've been, where we're going, and what the future is going to look like. So thank you both for sharing with us a little bit about what to expect at DataCloud. If you haven't already registered, we'll have that in our guest links with this episode, and on social media, you'll find those links. And so if you're listening to it, then check out the notes. We'll have those registration links there. So thank you both so much. And I just want to, before we close, just thank our event sponsor, Mod 42 Modular Data Centers. Thank you both for being on our show. And we're looking forward to being the media sponsor with you at DataCloud. It's going to be fun.
Thanks very much. Thank you very much for having us on.
Yeah,
Thank you, Larry.
Awesome. Yeah.